Motion in a second. I appreciate everyone's comments, emails, suggestions. All three of the commissioners have received them. We've had a lot of discussion on this. Our Board of Elections, particularly our solicitor, in bringing these things together. I heard everyone over the last couple of weeks and in your emails, and so we want to move forward with this. I'm not sure it's going to be a perfect fit for everybody, but I think at the end of the day, we're going to make some progress in this. Again, just the purpose of this group will be to be an advisory group to the county commissioners to determine the need and the scope of the efforts that we're going to undertake to educate Bucks County voters on the recently enacted Pennsylvania voter ID law. The advisory group selected by the county commissioners will examine that need for information and educational effort, report back to us. We're saying within approximately 45 days. We're putting that in there. We have a meeting July 11th. That's the first commissioners meeting of the month of July. That gives the balance of this month to get our act together. It gives 30 days, a couple of days to get it before us there so we can look at those recommendations and begin to act on them. I know in some of the letters I received, people are saying, well, it can't just be 30 days that you do this. And I was trying to be clear last time that we're going to put together the recommendations. We'll look at them, figure out which ones we think we can move forward on, and then begin to implement them throughout August, September, October, right up to the election. Specifically, again, this group is going to be charged with the following tasks. A, determine what voter ID educational information is being provided by the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. We heard last week there's some confusion over that, and so we want to wait as we get more information on that. Determine what those particular educational efforts we need to do beyond what the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania is doing, okay? And then provide suggestions for additional actions that can be taken to inform and educate Bucks County voters on complying with the new law. And then the final point, I think, is an important point that needs to come up front, and that is make sure whatever we get, it provides us with a prioritization and a timing of these recommendations. So we don't just end up with 4, 5, 6, 10, whatever, but we end up with recommendations, prioritized, and a little bit of a schedule or a milestone schedule to bring them down. I'm going to leave it up to this group as to how to meet, when to meet. I suggest at least 3 meetings. There will be all open meetings, and they'll provide for input. I'll read off the suggested names for the advisory group. Again, I heard you loud and clear, but the other week, and there will be room for input. There'll be room for input. We can't put everybody onto this list, but hopefully we received or have enough voices here, or ears that will hear and voices that will speak. So again, these recommended advisory group members will be the Bucks County Democratic Party, the Republican Party. We've received names from both parties in terms of who they would be. Our Bucks County Area Agency on Aging, our Board of Elections will be on this. They will also help kind of staff and kind of provide resources. League of Women Voters, and that will be up to them who they want to designate. We've asked for a state representative, a Democrat, one of the Democrat state representatives. I don't get a name yet, but I'm sure we can. Tina Davis, perhaps. I know I've already talked to Senator McElhenney. He will be the state senator, so it gives a Republican and a Democrat. Our Public Information Office, again, they will also sort of staff and provide resources to support this as well. Our MHDP office, we'll probably look to Mary Beth to work with us on that. And then the Human Relations Council, the chair of that or their designee. And all of these groups can work and filter in information through this process. And we talked about the media before. Since there are a couple of different media outlets, we're going to change that course a little bit, and strongly suggest, invite the media to be present at all the meetings and the coverings of this. That way it's not just the Courier or the Intel, but the Philadelphia Inquirer and the News Heralds and the locals. So we will open that up to the press to cover that. The other representative that we've asked to be on this advisory group is Richard Coe, who heads up kids voting. And has been involved, I know, on the youth side of some of that. So it gives us 11 members to this group, and I would recommend that I'll make a motion that we adopt this Bucks County Voter ID Educational Advisory Group under these constraints to work with the group members that are on here, and to provide us a recommendation no later than July 11th, which is the first commissioners meeting in July, which is actually an evening meeting.
Ooh.
An evening meeting, so did I say that again? Evening, it'll be an evening meeting in Doylestown. It'll actually be a picnic that night, so it'll be a nice night. We'll be able to take those recommendations at that time. So I'd like to make a motion that we pursue with this educational advisory group. Is there a second to that? Second. Thank you. Is there any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. I'm going to take public comment after the debate. All right, well, I'll take public comment in a second here. Two other things I forgot to say. In regard, we've had some discussions in terms of this being educational, informational, trying to get information out. There's also a lot of details and logistics that need to be worked out from a technical side with the Board of Elections. And that will be the Board of Elections role, looking for Dina, or Dina. She'll be involved in this information as well, but there will also be a lot of work that will be done in terms of training and Board of Elections, and Judge of Elections, and things of that. That will be going on in addition to, I guess, what these efforts would be. I just want to clarify on that. Is there any comments on that? I'm sorry, but Diane pointed this out. I forgot to ask for public comment on this particular group.